So I just wondered if you, to make it specific on take it from a general to a specific topic like finances, money.
Let's take this subject of the ball in the hole. So it's an end result, the ball in the hole. It seems that the ball in the hole is what you're looking for, but it's what it represents that matters more, yes? Let's say someone who doesn't understand golf, doesn't follow golf, hasn't even witnessed golf, just shows up and sees the ball in the hole. And there's jubilation, the Goodyear blimp is flying over. Everyone's in celebration around it, and he's looking. He knows it means something, but it's really hard to figure out what that could possibly mean. It represents so much more than just the end result. And everything is that way, isn't it? And so everything that you want is because you think you will feel better in the experience of it. And maybe it works just to focus upon the words. We've been focused upon only words. Esther was talking in the dressing room about how few words we were offering, how simple few words were actually changing the energy. And then Esther said, but one thing I've noticed about Abraham, when Abraham says an emotional word like love, they mean love. When Abraham says ease, they mean ease. In other words, that's the thing that you have to get to. You have to get to the word, but you have to stay there long enough that you mean it. So when you're talking about financial abundance, what are the emotional words? Some would say freedom. But freedom is sort of tricky because it's freedom from bondage. It's freedom from stuff I don't want to do. So it's usually sort of a scattered vibration. What's the emotion?
Ease. Ease is part of it. It's probably the same that applies to every category. Ease.
But there's something unique about a specific subject and the way the emotion around it feels. So it's really worth focusing around that idea and feeling. You sort of have to feel your way there. What's that feeling? And sometimes the way you can find it is by focusing upon the tension of financial struggle and then just feeling that not sort of dissipate as you just feel what it would feel like to not feel that. Just ease and freedom and fun of choices, fun of selection, fun of options, ease of options. We offered in the early days of talking about processes, a wallet process where we encouraged you to somehow find $100 and put it in your wallet or your pocket or your purse, and don't spend it, but spend it mentally. And some said, well, do I really have to put it there? And we said, well, it's helpful to have it there. And some said, well, I don't have $100 to put there. And we said, well, then you're not ready for this game. But put $100 in your pocket and then move through the day and say to yourself, I could buy that. I could buy that. If I wanted to, I could buy that. I could buy that. I could buy one of those shoes. I could buy that, I could buy that, I could buy that, I could buy that. And you just can't walk around noticing how many things, if you wanted to, you could, 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 without shoring up that emotion around the feeling of money. You're just going to start feeling more abundance. You're going to start feeling more freedom. I have the freedom if I wanted to do that. I have the freedom if I wanted to do that. Just anything that you can do to give yourself that feeling. And then here's the most important thing. Don't try to fill the grid in yourself. Because it's that attempt at something that doesn't work that messes up the vibration of the grid. Your grid is present tense. How do you feel about this grid? Is it making sense to you? You get it? So it's logical that what you had going on yesterday, grid-wise, is likely what you're going to have going on today, grid-wise, just because it's easier to just keep doing what you've been doing. But when you become aware that the grid that you've got going might not be serving you very well because it's a grid that is laced with negative emotion rather than positive emotion. So you make the determination that you're going to try to find more positive feelings to begin a new grid. Begin a new grid. Let's put it that way. Rather than trying to morph your grid forward and change the grimy grid to something clearer, let's start a new grid now. 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 And if you realize that all of your power is in the now, because all of your rendezvous point is in the now. All of your grid filling in power is in the now. So if you've got this grid going on and it's been going on for a while, it's logical that the better it gets, the better it gets. And your grid is going to become more and more specific as more and more fills in with it. Does that make sense to you? But there's real power for you. It's a real turning point for you if you will acknowledge that you're starting a new grid now. And the question that you might want to ask yourself is, am I just carrying over the old one? Well, it is likely that you are. And sometimes it's okay if you got a really good one going. But if you don't, then you want to start a new one and you want to start it now. And the more general you get in the process, the better. So how did that feel? Did you like the idea of just finding the feeling of freedom and the feeling of well-being? Can you feel how that's a good emotional grid? And then didn't it fill in even more with that analogy that we gave you, a process, a Wallop process of something to do? Didn't it even make more sense to you? Well, that's the grid filling in. If finances are something that are important to you, as you've been listening and feeling with us, you've already reestablished a new grid now. Your point of attraction relative to finances has changed just as a result of this conversation. So now you have three options. You can keep it going, which is the easiest thing to do because momentum and inertia is always easier. Or you can not keep it going and just continue on with whatever you've had going on. Or you can not keep it going, but get it going again. And not keep it going and get it going again. And that's really what's most practical for most of you. Just keep going after it again. Just keep saying, oh, new moment, how do I feel? Let's get a new grid going. Now here's another process that we offered for this very thing many, many years ago that fits right into this grid. You're going to discover that everything that we've ever said to you ever fits right into this grid analogy. Because when things are central to the basic laws of the universe, they always fit.